I've got the UMX Carbon Cub here after my repairs from the wreck last spring. Didn't fly that well. Kind of looked like the nose might have been accordioned up a bit. So I did the hot water vapor trick and didn't really notice much difference by eye, but we'll see if it helps, because before, yeah, it flew like, it flew like it was nose heavy and tail heavy at the same time. It would, almost acted like the thrust line was off because it seemed to balloon with throttle, like as if it was nose heavy, even though I was flying with down elevator trim, as if it, with visible down elevator trim, on the elevator, as if it was tail heavy. And that, and it really behaved poorly with the flaps down. So that kind of made me wonder if maybe the nose was a lot of whack. So I steamed it, and we'll see if it flies any different. I've got a Hype 500 Babel bat in there, and I think I've got it about right for where I want the CG, but that's kind of hard to tell too because I've got a lot of extra glue in places on the tail and other places, so it doesn't balance with the pack in the same spot as it used to. Well, the local weather stations say there's about a 1 to 3 mile an hour breeze out of the south, and I'm pointing south. So here goes. Everything still works. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. It's flying. Seems to be flying maybe a little better. Yeah, it just climbs under power like it should. Let's see about flaps. There's half flaps. See if it'll still do a low and slow figure 8. Boy, the mosquitoes are thick. Whoop, that didn't work so well. And see if I can do a low and slow figure 8 like this plane used to be so good at doing. There's some slow flying with the flaps up. So let's see what happens if I go to half flaps, slow down a little bit. She still acts really balloony with the flaps. Not sure why. More than usual, or more than I remember. Pull the flaps up and open the throttle a little bit. And give her some down trim. See, it's acting tail heavy in some respects, but nose heavy in others. So I'm flying with a 2300 kV motor and the 5 3/4 by 2.5 inch pitch yak/Pitts prop. I don't know. She doesn't fly like she used to. I think it's a little better after I steam the nose, but she doesn't have her old faithful cub personality anymore. She does a few odd things at certain points, so not sure what that's all about. Power off. And she glides about right. Let's see, full flaps. Not too bad. But in my grass, even though I mowed the other day, it's already gotten long enough to make an upright landing a little tough. Got my transmitter trim step set to the minimum number, so 4 beeps is actually equivalent to 1 standard trim step. So that way I can use trim with AS3X and use it like you would in a full-scale plane to, give it a little trim with flaps or whatever, and or to trim for speed, and that way I don't have to worry about messing up AS3X by giving it too much trim. Well, let's try that one more time now with the elevator leveled. Now you see it needs boy, she balloons like crazy with the elevator physically level. That's odd. I'm cruising at about 50% throttle right now. There's full throttle and look at it climb. I mean, it climbed until it almost stalled out there. Now I added some more down trim on the transmitter, and we'll see how that works on this pass. Well, that's better. Let's see, about half flap flying. A little low and slow here. Yeah, it just doesn't behave the same. Doesn't behave the same low and slow as she used to. She's mushier, balloonier, and in general harder to handle. And that's even with a big battery, with a big 500 milliamp hour batteries. So something is different. I'm not sure what it is. There's 50% throttle, which is a pretty good cruise speed for this thing with this prop and motor. That's flying clean. I don't know what it is. It's just not the same predictable Cub that she used to be. There's half flaps, full flaps. Let's try half flaps when we're in on approach. Yeah, not too bad for this ugly grass. Try that one more time. Yeah, I need Ben's Tundra tires. That's what I need. Ben on RC groups. I need a set of his Tundra tires. He makes a set of scale 30. They're scale 36-inch Alaskan bush wheels, and they look really good, and they're scale, so they're the right size. Well, they add a little bit of weight, but this thing can carry its own weight and payload and still do a loop from level flight. So a few extra grams of Tundra tires won't hurt it much. But then I wouldn't have to worry about the length of my grass. Yeah, I don't know what it is here. I can't seem to fly the plane as precisely as I used to. Seems to have more interaction between the controls. Because I used to be able to fly nice, low and slow at a pretty stable altitude, and the plane just behaved the way I expected. But now it's just acting weird. I mean, it's kind of overly sensitive to microturbulence, which would indicate a tail-heavy condition, but it's real balloony with the flaps, and that indicates kind of a nose-heavy position or condition. So yeah, that was half flaps, and it didn't act right. But evidently, it's not just see, there's full throttle, and now the plane just gains altitude like you'd expect it to do when it's trimmed for cruise and you open the throttle. But yeah, I don't know. Can't figure it out. It just behaves almost like it's tail heavy and nose heavy at the same time. Yeah, it was all the better I could do there. With my long grass, and I bent the top part of my stab, cracked it actually, so looks like I'll be going back for a little more repair. I don't know, really got mixed feelings about the plane. It's simply not what it used to be. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually diagnose it and fix it. And I find it a lot easier to fix balsa and plywood than foam. Especially once these things get kind of crunched up a bit, bent up a bit. It can be tough to get them straight again. So I'm not sure what it is. There's something wrong because it doesn't behave the way it used to, and because it acts both nose heavy and tail heavy in different respects. So there's something that's not right. I'm just not sure what it is at this point. Might be time for a new Cub, a new Carbon Cub. because boy, when this thing is right, it is such a beautiful, excellent flying little plane. I mean, it flies just like a Cub is supposed to fly, and it's very predictable. Not so at the moment.